and we'll be good to go.
Let me make sure. You can go ahead and take a slide, but I just want to see if my mic is on. It's not. There we go. A little better?
It sounds fine.
Okay. I was like, wait, can they not hear me?
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. That's fine. As long as it's working, honestly. I don't care.
I was just kind of in the zone. So
No, that's fine. Are we live?
Yeah.
38 seconds. Look at us. All right.
Get a shareable link.
Pumpkin, what are you doing? What do you have? Pumps. Pumpkin, god damn it. Don't you run away from me. What do you have? Pumpkin. You can't be doing that. Do I have to shut this from you? You can't be doing that. Okay.
Oh, okay. We are officially posted and ready to go.
All right.
Excellent. Oh, God damn it.
One other thing, and we can start.
Don't do it.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
All right.
Excellent.
The document is ready, and
Yes. Some fun stuff there.
Alex would like to know before we get started: is Brian's computer charged?
It's a good question. I mean, it's plugged in. No, I just want to double check. Yes, it is, but I just it's a good point to double check it.
Mm-hmm.
It is currently.
I am
the thing
running.
is that I just constantly knock it out of either the wall or the computer. It's not that it's not plugged in when we start. It always is plugged in when we start. It's that I knock it out with my extravagance, and by the end, it's never plugged in anymore somehow.
Well, I've got a prop bet going that says that your computer will still somehow die during the episode. So
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm 50-50 on that. We'll see.
I don't think I'd take that bet.
Well, okay. Are we ready to start?
Indeed.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
The light illumine you, and welcome to Tar Valon After Dark. My name is Jess, the Amerlin Seat, and I'm here at the Thirsty Tinker, Tar Valon's most disreputable inn, located in scenic North Harbor. We're back. We are ready. We are definitely not running late because I forgot it was Sunday, because that is definitely not a thing that happened. And we've got some really fun stuff coming. We have an informative eyes and ears report. We're going to get a visit from Tony the Tinker. We're going to listen to some omens in a brand new segment. We'll have another top 10 list, and we'll dive into some news. But first, let me introduce my partners in debauchery, Nameless and Rakappa Sadai.
Hey.
Thank you for not firing me for being an idiot.
No, stuff happens. It's no big deal.
I guess forgetting what day it is a thing that people do.
Well, when a person is neurodiverse, it's a thing that they do. You want to know what threw me off my game is that Rich and I left the house and went somewhere together for the first time in 2 years. And I was just flying so high on that I just 100% forgot that I had commitments.
I get it. It was a new world.
I'm okay with it. I'm just giving you shit. I mean, it was probably it was probably the lag, but
well, yeah. I mean, it's always the lag, isn't it?
Ha!
Got her.
We got you there.
Got her.
We fucking got her.
We fucking got her.
Yes, we fucking got her. I get it. It's the wave thing. Remember?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I actually really like
Jokes
that
are always more funny when you explain them.
Yep. Well, what's up with you all? We just heard a story from Jess. What's going on with Brian?
My jury experience is over after quite a while. And I was right. They sent me home when it was time for deliberations, and I left this courthouse being like, this had better go a certain way. And it did. This man was guilty as fuck, and I couldn't be more relieved. I will say that, like, after the whole experience, especially being like on the same page with the verdict, I was like, it would have been interesting to be there and like decide it with them. It sucks to be sent home after going through the whole trial. But I'm glad I did it. It was interesting, and this dude was guilty, so I was stoked. I don't know how long he's gonna be in jail, but I'm gonna keep Googling it over the next few months.
Is he...
Anyway,
that's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, that's over now, and it was interesting.
Well, I'm starting to put some things together because you live in New York, and there have been all these recent things about a certain former president. Were you on that?
You know what? I can talk
joking.
about it now. I mean, I can talk about it now, but no, it was a fraud trial where someone stole millions of dollars by lying to his investors about a product that was supposed to detect cancer with a breathalyzer and save lives, and he didn't have that product, and he was a piece of shit. And I was really mad at the end of the trial, and it was he spent millions of dollars of people's money who thought they were saving lives, and he stole their money. So I'm glad he's
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, it was a lot. But we're just waiting on the judge's sentence, but be guilty. And I'm happy.
That sounds icky.
It was honestly a lot to sit through and not be able to say anything at the end.
Well, exciting. I don't know if it's exciting stuff or not. Actually, it isn't. I bought a car.
It might be. You know me, I get excited about everything.
Exciting. That's cool.
I bought another car.
Ooh,
I mean, again, it's not okay, I'm gonna sound like pretty so I bought a Range Rover Velar. If you've ever seen one of those things before.
I've not.
I had no intention. I had no intention of purchasing it, and then I did. I got a good deal on it. Basically, I was able to haggle and got.
Were you planning on buying a car?
Yeah. I wasn't just like, oh, I got sold on a car.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, like, did you just like walk in someplace and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna buy this.
Oopsie.
It's sexy. It's a sexy car. What color did you get?
It's black. Here, I can show you the actual one I got. Let's see it.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of this vehicle, and it is sexy.
Yeah, they're very pretty. And I originally wasn't gonna go because normally I don't go for like the pretty car, if that makes sense. But I got an exceptional deal because the dealership did not realize what model they were selling. They thought they were selling a lower trim, and they were actually selling the high trim version, like the
nice.
And they didn't catch it, and I did. And so I got them to commit to it, and then I was like, oh, and by the way, can we confirm that this is, and they're like, oh yeah, I guess. And I wasn't letting them out of it, so I got a deal.
Yeah, I bet that was a bad day for that guy.
They were not happy, I don't believe, but hey, it is what it is.
You got it. It's your fault for not having a fucking idea what your inventory is. So
yeah, well, they had all the like when you go and shop on a website for a car, and they have like all the features and stuff listed. Well, like when I was reading it, because I do research on, like, I never buy anything without like researching the shit out of it, because that's just the way. Yeah, right.
You don't buy things on impulse. I find that very hard to believe.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, they for lack of a better way of putting it, I was looking at the features they were showing, and they just didn't match up. Like the model they were saying it was was not the model that it didn't make sense. And so I was like,
Mhm.
okay, and I was looking at the pictures in the car and like, okay, that definitely isn't what they think it is. So anyways, long story short, I got a deal on it.
Even the inside is sexy. God damn, dude, that is a good looking car.
Yeah, it's pretty. And like I said, I
Will
was
you take
gonna
me
buy
for
a
a
Jeep.
ride? Will you take me for a ride during
There we go. Nice. Yeah.
WatCon?
Congrats.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey.
sure. Well, I'm driving to JordanCon, so because I want to have my car there. I told you it's like a seven and a half.
Joyride.
It's like a 7.5 hour drive. It's already like if I fly there, it's a 50-minute Uber, right? Which is like $40 anyway, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Plus,
and
like
then-
getting to the airport and then waiting at the airport and then
Right.
flying. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably about the same.
and then
If you don't
last
mind
year,
driving, yeah, do it.
and last year when we were all there, like we all ended up walking like 3/4 of a mile every time we wanted to go eat, right? Remember, like when we went across the
Mhm.
street. So
And it was hot as hell. Yeah.
yeah,
it's
it
nice
won't
to have a
be
car.
it won't be nearly as hot, but I think you know what, screw it, I'll just have my car.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
for JordanCon 2019, we flew down, but we rented a car, and having one there was very nice.
And I thought about doing that too, but I just thought, you know what? I actually like driving when I have
Mhm.
time to do it because
Yeah.
it's good relaxed time. I listen to audiobooks or something, like it's not a big deal.
Right.
And I just kind of that's my alone time that I never get. So and
Yeah,
I
get
hate
it.
and I hate I can't stress to you how much I hate planes. So
Well, you barely fit in
Then-
them.
I don't fit.
You're a
And
monster.
so
You're a mountain of a man.
the flight to England, even though they flew us first class, was miserable because the way there now the way back was better, but the way there, even in the first class, it was like the most fucked up first class seat that was just really configured in a very uncomfortable way for somebody who's 6'6". So like I had like something digging into my side the whole time and it was
Oh,
like
Mm.
awful. Anyways,
As someone with an extremely big ass, I can definitely sympathize with that. Because everything digs into my ass. So
I would hope the first class seats are nice. That sucks. That's
yeah, that fucking sucks.
well, yeah, and it's like a overseas first class flight, so I was thinking it
right.
would be better.
Yeah,
Now
you were
on
there
the
for
way
a while, so
on the
yeah.
way back, it was way better. It was like your own little desk in like a cubicle,
good.
which was
Alright.
better.
Ooh, that's
But
nice.
like,
Yeah.
I've always wanted to fly one of those.
yeah, I will never
Yeah,
do
I
it.
know. I'm always jealous when I get in a plane and I walk past that shit. I'm like,
I will
"Ooh."
probably never do it
I
again.
want a little. It's like your own little fort.
Well, unless I become like a Uber millionaire or Amazon or somebody flies me overseas again, because I looked how much my ticket was going to cost if I paid for it, and it would have been like $12,000. So I was like, oh,
Really?
yeah, overseas flights to London specifically are like ridiculous. Look them up.
Mhm.
That is ridiculous.
For
I
first
just
class.
bought. Yeah, but like I just bought my flight to Atlanta for JordanCon, which I should have bought
Yeah.
a while ago. But you know, I was looking at the first class rates, and they're not that much more than.
No, it's like $300.
But it's also it's a tiny little flight from
Mhm.
New York to
Mhm.
Atlanta. But 12,000 is just a wild number after looking at
Yeah,
that.
that is a wild amount of money.
That's what I thought about it too. So
Well, especially $12,000 and you're uncomfortable the whole time.
yeah, it was awful.
Right.
Like,
I'm just
yeah,
glad
that
I didn't
sucks.
pay for it. That's all. So
Mhm.
but yeah, we've got a good show. We don't have
We
any new
do.
patrons.
Mm-mm.
No new patrons.
Shameful.
It is
I
shameful.
mean, we love the patrons we do have, but everyone else, you know,
Shame.
Fuck
karma's
up.
a bitch. I'm just gonna say that.
Karma's a bitch.
No, you're yeah. Well, yeah. Let's just leave it
We're
at
gonna
that.
do voodoo. You're gonna be
Yeah.
sorry.
You don't know. Yeah.
Now I hesitate because normally I only read 5-star reviews, but for today, we did get our first ever. So this is a first for TVAD. We have gotten a 1-star review before because somebody wanted to be that way. I don't know if you guys remember.
You're always gonna have haters.
But this is our first ever 3-star review.
Oh,
And
I am so excited.
That.
Normally,
That means they thought about it.
normally
I really hope that they don't like that I swear. I really, really hope.
right? I wouldn't tell Jess what it was before you came on, Brian. And I thought, okay, I'll read this because it is our first 3-star review. And it's the reason I think for the 3-star review, I find comical. But anyways, let me just, without further ado, I'll go ahead and read it. This comes from Ryan Stice. Thank you, Ryan, for the review. Ryan writes, good podcast. So it starts it off. That's the title. Good podcast. Good start. A really good and often funny podcast on the Wheel of Time with some of the more knowledgeable and insightful content creators. So, see, it's a wonderful start. You'd think it was a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets a little too political at times, but definitely worth a listen. Now, Ryan, first of all, I appreciate it. I actually am not really calling you out or even yelling at you. That's fine. I just, here's the only thing. I don't know that we get overly political while I'm wearing my Elida Make Randland Great Again shirt, but I don't know that we get political, but we talk about like gay issues, and for some people, like that is political for some reason.
Oh, we talk about feminism too. That's also political.
I suppose those are Apple TV. I know this should probably go later. Apple TV has a really cool documentary series. Oh shit, what is it called? I just watched all of it last night. Like I couldn't stop watching it. I binged the whole thing. And what it was basically is the history of LGBTQ rights and portrayal in media.
Nice.
And it was like a 5-part series. And again, just like all of those things that are on TV, they of course overvalue the importance of television. I always love that they stroke themselves while they do that, like how television is the thing that saved everybody's lives. But nevertheless, like I watched that and I'm just like, the fact, like I forget how bad it used to be with the way that people used to think things that were politics, but were really just, hey, I have a right to exist and be a human being. Like, yeah. And like how that wasn't even like 15 years ago. And I just saw today, because you brought up that we could get political, I just thought I would get political for a second. I read something today that just fucking pissed me off. And of course it's fucking Florida.
Of course it is.
Florida is about trying to pass a law that if you somehow found out, like if the teachers found out that you were gay at school, they have to tell your parents. And I'm just thinking in my head, wow, is that the most harmful bullshit I've ever seen?
Oh,
but anyways,
it's pretty bad.
Ryan, you inspired me to get political, but there we go.
There you go.
Welcome. Thank you for the review, though.
And thank you for thinking that we're insightful and knowledgeable. That's nice.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine wanting to. I mean, teen suicide rates are already high for gay kids. Let's have one more reason to have them do that. That just.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It's very bad.
Heartless and evil, in my opinion. But okay. Anyways.
Fucking Florida, man.
Fucking Florida. How do you like my new map?
I love it.
The one on the left is new. On my left?
Yes, that one. The one I'm pointing at.
Yes, I like.
The one I'm pointing at.
The one you're pointing at.
Well, it looks like a large vagina. It looks like a large vagina.
I definitely noticed. Yeah, it's a big old tar ballin'.
Well, anyways,
Tarballin is now officially a euphemism for lady parts.
I mean, we all know what's going on. Yeah.
Well, all right then. Hey, do you guys want to get started with the show?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
What do I say? All right.
Nables, you're going to be in Eyes and Ears.
Ooh, in my loyal voice too. Okay.
Yes, you're going to do loyal.
Nice. And now it's time for an Eyes and Ears report. Welcome to Eyes and Ears, the greatest news network in all of Randland. Here's Rakapa Sadai reporting from Faldara. Oh,
Thank you.
Can say
you forgot you're welcome.
You're welcome, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Start over.
Welcome to Eyes and Ears, the greatest news network in all of Randland. You're welcome. Here's Rakapa Sadai reporting live from Faldara.
Thank you, Jess. I'm at a hospital with Loyal, son of Arendt, son of Halan, son of no one cares. How are you feeling, Loyal?
Sorry. That was good, Brian. Sorry.
It's
Okay.
good.
I feel like I might die. I feel like I was being hasty when I left the steading.
You're not going to die. We've confirmed that.
Oh, that's good. Then I just feel hasty.
What exactly do you mean when you say hasty?
I mean, I expected to do cool shit when I left the steading, but instead I did almost nothing, and then I almost died. I probably should have thought this through. When I was little, my mom always said, "You are hasty as fuck, Loyal." I'm sorry to say that again. When I was little, my mom always said, "You're hasty as fuck, Loyal." And she was right.
Okay. Back to you, Jess.
Thank you, Rakappa. Fans are debating whether Elida will appear in season 2. Elida made the following statement in a press conference. If I'm not there, people will be sorry. I don't know who, and I don't know when, but someone is going to be fucking sorry. This I foretell. In the White Tower, Laris has been given a raise. I've waited 30 years for this raise, she told the press. I finally blackmailed Elida into giving it to me. I've got major dirt on that one. She's nuts. Finally, Aes Sedai are amazed at what a genius Egwene Alvir is. Ever since Elida captured her, she's been giving amazing advice when Aes Sedai told the press, either she's a genius or the rest of us are fucking idiots.
So
This
true.
has been Eyes and Ears. You're welcome. Definitely idiots.
Yeah, 100%.
It might be the second one.
NDP.
All right. I think it's time
All right.
for Tony the Tinker.
All right. Hi, I'm Tony the Tinker. This segment is Ask a Tinker, where you can ask a tinker questions. I'm looking forward to it. Our first question comes from Andral Sedai, who writes, Tony, what's the deal with Shara? Have you been? Can you get me in? I heard they have good drugs. Thanks for the question, Andral. I have no idea what's up with Shara. No one does. But I seriously doubt Shara's drugs are that good. If you want good drugs, you need to visit a tinker camp, not Shara. Our next question comes from Mike, who writes, Tony, are plant-based meats okay within the way of the leaf, or is it too similar to actual meat? Thanks for the question, Mike. We Tinkers don't understand plant-based meat. Why does it look like meat if it's not meat? Do people want to feel like they're consuming the flesh of something dead that used to be alive? Is that fun for them? Bottom line, plant meat is a no-no in the way of the leaf. If you're one of those vegetarians who wants to feel like they're eating meat, you need to look at yourself. You are fucked up. Our next message comes from Moradin77, who writes, what are the incentive awards one can earn by recruiting others to the way of the leaf? What level are you at? Thanks for the question, Moradin. We have a point system, and my rank is Silver Leaf Gold Plus. Every year, whoever converts the most dummies gets an all-expenses-paid vacation to Kyrian. Isla always wins in my camp, but I don't care. Who would want to go to Kyrian? They don't even have drugs there. This has been Ask a Tinker. I enjoyed it very much. If you have questions you'd like to ask a tinker, send them to tarvalinafterdark@gmail.com, and maybe I'll answer them on Ask a Tinker, which was this segment, which I enjoyed very much. Goodbye. I love you.
So, what I'm hearing is that the Way of the Leaf is an MLM.
100%. It sounds like.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which people need to know,
Yeah.
Well, I like the plant-based meat thing because really, what is the point there? Is it just like, okay, I want to pretend like I'm eating a hamburger even though I'm not?
I mean, if you need to feel like you're consuming something dead, that's on you,
I mean, plants are dead
If you
when
don't
you eat them.
follow the way of the leaf, and
plants are dead when you eat them.
That's true.
Yeah, but why does it have to look like meat?
But
Taste
isn't a
like
plant?
meat.
Isn't
And
a
taste
plant
like meat? Exactly.
Isn't a plant a living thing as well that you've killed to eat, to consume?
I think Tony has some major arguments to this. Maybe you need to write into Ask a Tinker.
I
next
should. I
time.
got yelled at the
Yeah.
I got yelled at the last time I wrote in to Ask a Tinker, though.
Well,
Well, I was
I
told I
can't
wasn't
promise
supposed
it won't
to.
happen again, but
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, dude.
I think we're ready for Darbinda's omens.
Oh my God, Darbinda's omens. Okay.
This is the two of you. This is the two of you.
Yeah, Jess, if you could be Min.
Okay.
Okay. I can record an intro after this. I think I wrote something in there, but I can just do it after, once I've determined what this voice exactly will be. All right. So you can start, Jess, with you sent for me, Empress.
Okay. You sent for me, Empress. May you live forever.
Darbinda.
My name is Min.
Min is dead. You are Darbinda now.
Nope. Pretty sure I'm still Min.
Darbinda means girl of pictures.
I give 0 fucks what it means.
It is an honor to be renamed by the Empress. May I live forever.
Yeah, I don't feel honored. Just offended.
Tell me what omens you have seen.
No. You are going to misinterpret it and then execute someone.
I promise not to execute anyone.
You swear?
Cross my heart and hope to die.
Fine. Today I saw a duck over Seleucus' head.
Was the duck wearing overalls?
No, it wasn't wearing overalls. It was a fucking duck.
A duck without overalls means Seleucia will betray me. I must execute her.
You swore you wouldn't execute anyone.
I never said that.
You know what? I forgot. The duck was wearing overalls.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. There were definitely overalls.
Then we must torture everyone Seleucia loves and make her watch and then execute her.
What the fuck? Why?
A duck with overalls means Seleucia will be my downfall.
Aren't you two friends?
We were, before I realized she was a treacherous bitch. You have done good work today, Darbinda.
If you execute Seleucia, I'll stop telling you omens.
Okay. I swear not to execute her. Cross my heart, hope to die. Tell me another omen, Darbinda.
No.
Please. Pretty please.
We're done. I'm leaving.
Darbinda.
That voice was too much.
Yeah, you were nailing the Tuon voice or the Sean Chan.
I don't know what it sounds like, but it's wild.
Darbinda.
I really like the Kate Redding Sean Chan voice, but it's hard to replicate. I can't quite pin down like what she's doing, but it's funny to play with.
I still find it funny to no end that Robert Jordan pictured the Sean Chan with like a Texas draw. Like, what the fuck?
I can't do it.
Where the hell did you get that, dude?
Yeah. But I love what's in the audiobooks. I honestly think it's like a really interesting otherworldly accent. I like what she does, especially.
All right. It's time for a top. By the way, before we get into that, no order today. Just read it in order. It'll go me, Jess, Brian. No big
Okie
deal.
doke.
All right.
Wait. Sorry, I missed that. No,
Top
it
10
goes-
list.
but who goes first?
Me, Jess, Ryan. It doesn't matter.
Got it.
So whoever goes. There's no order. All right. Today we have a top 10 list. We are going to do the top 10 sword forms that may or may not be real. Top 10
Yay!
sword forms
Nice.
that may or may not be real. Number 10, eel among the lily pads.
Number 9, kissing the adder.
That sounds fun.
Number 8, Tower of the Morning.
Number 7, the viper flicks its tongue.
Number 6, the kingfisher takes a silverback.
That sounds painful.
Like a gorilla or
I mean,
That one's like a complex image. Yeah.
I mean, think if you
there's
have
a lot.
if you think about that. Anyways,
There's a lot going on there.
Number 5. Oh wait, is it me?
yeah, yep.
Okay. Number 5, the pussycat gets wet.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Number 4,
Hmm.
the courtier taps his fan.
Okay.
Number
I
3,
can't tell you how many times I've tapped my fan. I'm just.
I
saying.
mean, who
There.
doesn't? Number 3, sheathing the sword.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Number 2, the beaver swallows the stick. That one sounds fake.
What the fuck, dude?
That one's a stretch.
Number 1, the hummingbird sucks off the flower. All right.
Nameless is dying right now. He's
Okay. I can't even read it. Okay, real quick though, because before we finish this off, I need you guys to tell me which ones you think are real and which ones are fake. So, eel among the lily
Are some of
pads.
these real?
Oh yeah. Some of these are, I would say a good chunk of these are real. You need to tell me
Okay, so
real
my
or fake.
guess
This
is-
fun.
Number 10,
Okay.
eel among the lily pads, fake or real?
that's real.
Yeah, that sounds real.
That one's real. Number 9, kissing the adder.
Also real.
Number 8, Tower of the Morning.
That one's fake.
Fake, Brian.
Yeah, that's fake.
It's real.
Okay.
Really?
Yep.
I thought you were just making a euphemism for morning wood. I
Nope.
learned today.
That was actually a real one. Number 7, the viper flicks its tongue.
I think that's real.
I think that one's real.
It is real. Number 6, the kingfisher takes a silverback.
That
Mm.
one doesn't have enough innuendo to be fake, so that one's probably real.
Yeah, I think that one's real too.
That one's real. Number 5, the pussycat gets wet.
I don't think that's
That is
real.
Definitely
I think
fake.
that's fake.
100% real. I'm joking. That one's fake. Number 4, courtier taps his fan.
That one's
Yeah, that's real.
That one's real. Sheathing the sword.
Also real.
Yeah.
Beaver swallows the stick.
Definitely
No, that's
not real.
fake.
Too much.
And I'm gonna say, yeah.
Hummingbird
last one
sucks off
here?
the flower is also.
I feel like,
Not
yeah, I would remember hummingbird sucks off the flower, and I definitely don't.
There is one that says like hummingbird drinks the flower.
I know there's one with a hummingbird, but it's definitely not sucking anything or anyone off. So yeah.
All right. Well, that has been the top 10 sword forms that may or may not be real.
Excellent.
Love
All
it.
right.
All right, now-
It's time for some news. Yeah.
Yay.
All right.
All right. Cue that music. There is not a lot of news. However, there is some cool stuff. So we finally had kind of a down week. Like every week I've thought we were going to have a down week and then something crazy comes out and it's not a down week. This week kind of was. So that being said, there were a few things that I think are interesting. So number 1, I'll talk about one thing that's kind of a charity that's happening. So Lorne Ball, who is the composer for the Wheel of Time, he is giving away a signed copy of the score with his signature and all of the cast.
Ooh.
Now it's part of a fundraiser they're doing to raise money for like I want to say it's like the hospice center in Scotland.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to help out with that, what you do is you donate money. For every £10 that you donate, they give you one entry into the contest, and then the center is going to give it away. So I thought that's kind of cool. And they have a picture of it. A picture of it's up on Twitter, and you can actually see it. It's got all the cast signatures. It's the music basically for the score, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I actually saw that on social media, so I feel kind of proud of myself because that never happens. But
I did not see that.
It's pretty excellent. The other things going on right now. So we also had, I think this is the biggest news, and it has nothing to do with the show, but it is really fucking cool. There is a new Wheel of Time book coming out now. Not storybook. However,
Right.
there is a book being released by Tor that is basically a history of, or the origins of the Wheel of Time. So it goes over a couple things. It goes over Robert Jordan as an author and all of his ideas and thoughts about like how he wrote the books, himself personally, how he went. Nice wig, Jess.
I know it's great.
And then also it has like all of the inspirations for all the cultures, the mythology, all the things that kind of fed Robert Jordan as he wrote. There is a new updated map that comes from his notes that will be in it, of a world map that has changes based on his notes. So that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
There is a chapter from the original copy of Eye of the World that is completely different. That will be in it. So that'll be cool.
I'm buying that.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna buy it. Now,
sorry, what is it? Origins and Mythologies of the Wheel of Time? What's it called?
Yeah, it is called. Hold on, let me tell you.
We should tell people what it's called. The Legend. No.
So it is called Origins of the Wheel of Time: The Legends and Mythologies That Inspired Robert Jordan. It's by Michael Livingston. And it has a foreword from Harriet in it. So it's written, has a foreword from her.
Cool.
It will not release, however, until November 8th. So we have a while.
I was going to ask for my birthday, but that's not going to work.
Yep. No, I think a lot of people will read into that and think, oh, does that mean it's right before season 2 comes out? And I don't think so.
No, but, it's for holidays. It's also a book, so that's probably not the same.
Yeah, it's not really tied to the Wheel of Time, or the show at least. But I thought that was really cool, and I am very excited for that. That's something.
Big same.
Yeah, that's exciting. So I love me a new Wheel of Time themed book.
I would read more story. Anybody that like, if I know it's never going to happen because Sanderson basically said it wouldn't. But like, if they started doing like the extended universe of the Wheel of Time, I would totally read it.
I would read the shit out of that.
I would read it, but I'm not really asking for it because I feel like I'm just so glad that we got an ending after RJ was gone that like I kind of feel like comfortable with it being done there just because I don't know. It was already hard enough to have a new writer and yeah,
I get
I want to know what the fuck Rand was doing. Does he visit his kids? Does he pay child support? What is this fucking deadbeat dad doing? That's what I want to know.
I have a feeling his kids don't need child support considering
who his set.
His wives are kind of set, but still.
Fair.
That being said, also there have been a bunch of stuff about the VFX for season 1, so the visual effects that came out. There's 2 different companies that worked on it that released like write-ups and video reels that kind of show the befores and afters and little walkthroughs about their thought process. Now there was something that I didn't totally notice that apparently was done. The company that did the channeling, the weaves are different colors. Like they actually have different colored weaves.
And they are?
When you combine them, they change. However, it's so difficult to pick out. Like they did not make them obvious. So it's very difficult to actually like tell.
You're talking about the footage we saw on the show. Yes. You're saying those weaves were actually intended to be different color.
Supposedly,
was it intentional to make it so very, very subtle that nobody noticed?
I think they were. I think that's. See, I think that was not. I think they were trying to be subtle, but I think they went a little too subtle. I'll show you guys the article later, but like they have a whole thing where showing like what the different weaves look like, and then when they combine them, they look different. And
I think I saw a picture on Twitter from that. It looked really cool, and I didn't really read any of the context. I'm like, wow, it would have looked really neat if they'd done that. And I guess they did.
they just I don't think it was as obvious as it needed to be. Which here's the good side to that. It obviously didn't succeed in season 1, but if they can kind of look back on it and say, you know what, that wasn't real successful, they can be a little bit more obvious with it in subsequent seasons, which they might be able to address that.
They can
I am
course correct
floored right now.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that because
I mean,
like,
it
I
sounds
honestly
cool,
was
but like,
thinking... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just, how did no one say we can't see 5 different colors if they wanted that to be an important, thing? How did that I'm floored.
Not
if
sure.
they and how I mean, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, I suppose it could be that they got, close enough to the end where they're looking at what's close to the final product. They're like, oh shit, we can't see the colors, but also we don't have enough money to fix it. I mean,
yeah.
Or did they like edit it so that you couldn't see the colors because there was a later choice made? I mean, that's just, it's wild to me that if they wanted that to be a part of the story, that they would allow that to go through without fixing it.
Here, I know this will be horrible for the podcast audience, but
people
showing
love to
pictures is
listen to
great
us
radio.
watch things.
We could always cut this part out just so you guys can see it. One moment.
So while you're doing that, I wore this wig for a TikTok that I made yesterday of Elaine.
Oh, that is the wrong one.
I'm really
I'm feeling it.
Proud of how it turned out. And
it looks super.
Wearing this wig makes me really glad that my blonde phase is far, far behind me because
it's a good Elaine color, I feel like.
Yeah, it is a good Elaine color.
Okay. Do you guys see this?
Yes.
Yes.
So these are their concepts. This is what they made. So that's fire, spirit, earth. Now, when they combine them, they look like, see what I'm saying? Like it's very, very subtle. And I think the way they color graded the show made it very difficult to actually pick this out because of the color grading.
You just got to turn up that contrast a little bit because that looks awesome.
Yeah. I wish they just need, it's exactly what it is. They needed to really get the contrast down. But if there was that kind of thought, then I'm very impressed by it.
But
you know what I would love is if they at some point were able to go back and like do a like a what is it, a
they could absolutely go back and redo it. And
I would love if they went back and like fix that so that we could
that'd be cool.
The way
I mean, if they're gonna put that thought into it, I want to see what it looks like. But
one thing this also did confirm here, and you can see this, it says the energy is invisible to the characters, but only we, the audience, can see it. So
in every case,
that's what they're implying here. I mean,
they're implying that channelers can't see them either.
Yep. And so here is the
channelers can't see the weaves.
Channelers can, but not everybody.
Okay.
So anyways, it's worth looking at, like, just in terms of how they did the VFX. It's kind of cool. You can see the ways. So anyways, I know that this is really riveting for the podcast audience.
Yeah.
But
they love it.
But it's riveting for us, and that's what's important.
You could see that it actually does exist. The difference was I just don't think it was. I think it was too subtle. I actually don't. Here's what I think happened. And guys, like, I don't know how much editing. I'm still super novice when it comes to editing, but I understand this. I bet you it was more clear before they color graded the show. So color grading is where they go in after the fact and like grade how they tinted a little bit is another way of putting it. And I think when they did that, it pulled that out.
There was all this. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm probably agreeing with what you're saying, Brian. Like, I don't think that's an excuse, but it is shocking to me that if that's what they intended, that's what we got.
I mean, I feel like there were months where we were talking about how much extra time they had to work on the, post-film production.
Extra time doesn't equal extra money.
No, but I'm not.
And if they weren't budgeting to go back and retint all of the weaves and they didn't have money for it, like,
I'm not saying, I understand that. Yeah. I just, that if they really wanted that to be a part of the story and they just couldn't get that into the first season, that's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Big
they did also, there's another article that's up that I'm not going to show you here, but it shows the Trolloc costumes, like with the practical ones and then the CGI overlays. God, they look so good. Like I actually think they did a good job when they had the practical costumes. I thought they looked good. It's
Mm-hmm.
when they went full CGI with the Trollocs, because they had to in a couple areas. That's when it was shaky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the practical effect combination was excellent in my opinion. So
Agreed.
but yeah, I like seeing some of how those visual effects are done. And supposedly, guys, again, the word is that the VFX budget is like doubled for season 2. So
Awesome.
so whatever that means. Now again, I also keep this in mind too. I will say this, even with TV shows like Game of Thrones until its later seasons avoided CGI like the plague if they could.
Well, they had more money later, so
And they had more money later. But we all have these expectations that we're going to see like a Marvel movie with like, you know, those types of things. And like we have to remember that those movies are spending $125 million an hour and we're getting maybe 10 an hour, right? So like it's just to put that in perspective. I always think it's good to temper expectations, if you will. Okay, so a couple other these are more community news things, but like they're out there and I think they're worth it. Number 1, there is a fan edit of the entire first season that has been put together by a fan. Now I have not seen it. I've seen some people saying that this particular fan was a White Cloak and that this is him saying that he's making it better by cutting out all the people of color. I don't know
I
that
understand
that's
that
true.
he cut out a lot of the women as well.
I think, but now to that point, I don't think that was his intention as much as from what I read from his notes, his intention was to make it a Rand-centered story like the books. And so he cut out the stuff that wasn't in the books, which happened to be a lot of the extra stuff with the women. So read into that how you will, but supposedly this fan edit is out there.
My instinct on that is that impact is more important than intent, and whether he meant to do it or not, like it's still it sucks.
I'm not sure that I always agree impact is more important than intent, but
well, looking at it from my perspective as a woman.
Well, sure, impact. Yes. I'm not saying that I'm just saying
I'm impacted.
Impact is not always more important than intent sometimes. People don't always think through their impact.
But that doesn't make it any less hurtful to the people who are impacted.
And that's accurate. But I think it would actually make it more hurtful if he was intending to say fuck women. Now I feel like I'm defending a guy that I'm not defending, but I'm not defending him, to be clear.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of are.
No, I'm defending a point that has nothing to do with him. But because we can disagree on this. I think intent does matter.
I think
just throw that out there.
You're wrong and you're stupid.
Well, you are entitled to be wrong about that.
I think intent matters, but you have to think about your responsibility when you post something like that. So
100%.
You know, you're not off the hook. You have to 100%. Think about things, and then you can say, "Oh, I didn't mean it," but it doesn't really fix it for whatever came across.
Sure. Yep. I also look at it this way: we choose what we are offended about. Those types of things. So
we don't choose what we're offended about.
Well, you kind of do sometimes, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't be offended by that. I guess, let me reframe what I'm saying is that should only affect you if you let it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to take the time to watch it because I don't care. In my opinion, from the first place, my issues with the first season of the show have absolutely less to do with the fact that there's stuff that's added in and more to do with the fact that we didn't get enough. Does that make sense? Like, I really think we needed 2 more episodes and another hour of a pilot, not let me cut all this other stuff out. Like, that doesn't make it better to me. I don't think that makes anything better. You guys agree with that?
Well, yeah, but I do want to back up to the whole choosing what you're offended by.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so
you could deal with I guess, let me say this. You can deal with the consequences of what you're saying, but like if you call me a slur, I can judge you for it and I can react to you and I can treat you differently because you did. But at the end of the day, like I'm still, if that is deeply going to just reside in me forever, that's my choice to a degree, right? This is my opinion on that. I can
That's
choose
not how
not to be
emotions
offended.
work.
I was going to say, my
Like-
opinion is that it's the other way around, where you can control how you respond to it, but you can't control how it makes you feel. That's how I feel.
Because, like,
That's
as
fair.
an example, I choose not to hold grudges against my ex-husband for the abuse that I experienced while I was in a relationship with him. But the complex PTSD that I have because of that, and the way that I feel about certain things that happen that trigger that, I don't have any control over that. So I don't think it's fair to say that you choose what you are offended or upset by. You choose how you react, but the way that you feel is just the way that you
No, I think that's fair. I don't think that was entirely what I meant, but that is fair to say. I think you're right in that. I would say from my perspective, at least for me, I'll speak for me alone. In my head, I try not to let things get to me when those types of things happen. And
you're very good at letting things roll off your back.
That's a muscle I've developed over time. It's not something that's natural. So like
and then my ass is sitting over here with rejection sensitive dysphoria. If I think that you hate me, I get really upset. So it's great.
Yeah, and maybe that's just the difference of the
my head is a great
I don't
place
know.
to be.
Everybody's head is a good place to be, though. And we're all different. So now, and I guess I'm just trying to say this. I have no intention to watch this thing because to me, it seems like it was made out of good faith or a bad faith but not to mention, even taking that out of it, even if he wasn't a White Cloak, let's say, because I'll tell you this, I know Matt Hatch from the Dusty Wheel is planning on making a different cut. Him and Taylor are going to edit something together. I know what their intent is with it. Like, I don't think they're right.
They're coming at it from a place of good faith,
right?
Because they love the source material.
Yeah, and I think I think he could edit it in a way like, I guess my point on it is if Matt's recut was, I cut 1/3 of the things from the show, I don't feel like that makes it better in this case, because I don't think that that's what the show was hurting for. I think the show was hurting for actually adding content, not removing it.
No, I agree 100% on that. There are situations where removing things can make the end product better, but I don't think that this is one of those situations at all.
Yeah, that was kind of my read on it.
Yeah.
The last thing, and this is something that I know Jess has been a part of, and I have to find out if she's planning on doing it again this year, but the What Song Parody Challenge is upcoming. So
do we know when that is?
Yes. So the submissions are due by March 15th.
Okay, good. I have time.
And so for those of you who do not know what that is, it is run by the Dusty Wheel, so Matt Hatch at the Dusty Wheel and Taylor, John from What Up, the YouTube channel, and Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern. They did this last year. It was a massive success.
Oh, it was so fun.
And it was one of the best things I've seen the community do. Is honestly one of the most entertaining things I think I've ever seen in Wheel of Time YouTube. I don't know, me and like 600 other people were riveted to watching these. We have an amazingly talented community.
We really do.
What this is basically people that take karaoke beats to famous songs, rewrite them in a Wheel of Time fashion, and submit them. The winner last year did a remake of More Than Words by, oh crap, who is that? It's so damn funny. And yes.
Oh my God, it was so good.
He called it Ilyena, and oh my God, it was fucking hilarious. And like that one was good, but there were all kinds of them that were amazing. Like it was so hard to vote for these because most of them were so funny. I know Andrew the Bard did one that was like the Billie Eilish song Bad, but about Murderall or something, and it was fucking hilarious. Jess did one.
Yeah, I did a cover of 9 to 5.
Yes.
As instead of 9 to 5, it was Aes Sedai. And like, I mean, I wouldn't say that I phoned it in, but like I did put a ton of effort into it. And then like we got in there and people like made music videos. And like, I was like, I am outclassed 100%.
You still made it pretty far, Jess.
That's true. I did.
You did make it pretty damn far into that.
I think it's because of the one line where I talk about this stupid little flower, like trying to
Mhm.
visualize that stupid little flower. Like everybody just laughed their asses at. I think that's really probably what I did it.
Well, it was funny. I really, first of all, if you have any iota of talent, I highly suggest you submit something because
Mhm.
even if you don't win, it's really entertaining. There are
Brian, I'm looking at
prizes
you.
for
You
the
need to do
winners.
something.
Brian, you absolutely should do something for that.
I'm not gonna do that.
Do it, Doug.
But it was great, and everybody should watch it when it does come out. They don't have the dates for the actual contest because they need to know how many submissions they get first. Because last year I think there were over 40. And so they split up the voting days. So it's like live voting, like American Idol,
Mhm.
where you watch them, they play clips, and then people will vote. God, you can go back and watch last year's on the Dusty Wheel channel. Just type in Wheel of Time Song Parody Challenge, and it'll come up on YouTube. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
Tons of fun.
So yes, that's basically the news. There's not much this week, but what there is fun. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big fun.
and that is that.
Yay.
Loves it.
Do we have a topic?
Yes, we do.
Heron, right?
Yep.
Can we take a 5?
We
Yeah.
can once Jess
Love it.
does her thing.
Oh, sorry. I did that last time too.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Awesome. Yes, take 5.
Cool. Thank you. I'll be back.
I'm gonna go grab a drink too. I'll be right back.
Top 3 parent moments.
Fill this guy up.
I should pee. Every time I touch my earbuds, fucking Apple Music tries to open, and I'm like, bitch, I have never voluntarily opened you in my life. Why are you doing this?
Am I bad that I listen to Apple Music? I use Apple Music.
No, I don't think it's bad.
I know
I
some
mean, they
people
don't pay out as much to artists as other services do, but like, use what you want to use. I'm also basing that on a graph that somebody shared, and I don't have any reason to think that it's not accurate because they did cite their source, but I did not do any of my own research on it either. So probably take it with a grain of salt.
I am checking right now.
So, I decided to do a supercut of all the times I said the word shit in season 1. And it's really funny.
Shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, dumb as shit. Like, yeah, it's fun.
Apparently Apple Music is the highest. Or supposedly. Let me double check, but I'm just reading.
It's also, it could probably depend on the sources that you're looking at too, because like you can manipulate data to say whatever you want.
So this guy did his own test on his own music, supposedly. Spotify paid him $2.29 per 1,000 streams. Tidal did $6.85. Apple Music was $6.77 per 1,000 streams. So
what else does he have on there?
I'm just reading all the different, like YouTube, TikTok.
Is Napster on there? Because Napster was on the one.
Napster is on here, yeah.
That graph had Napster as being the highest, which I thought was interesting. And also, I didn't know Napster was still a thing, so I learned that day.
Okay, so streaming royalties. Here's another industry. This is from Producer Hive. Tidal is the highest at 1 cent per stream. Apple is at 0.8 cents per stream. So it's the second highest, followed by Amazon Music at half of that. And then Spotify, then YouTube Music, then Pandora, and then Deezer, which I've never heard of.
I've heard of Deezer, but I've never used it.
So apparently Tidal is the highest.
In the list that I was looking at, Napster did like 1.8 cents per stream. Tidal did like 1.4 cents per stream. And then I think it was Apple Music, I think. But yeah, it's interesting. And I wish that there was like a single source of truth that we could trust on it.
Part of me is in this regard. Like I am all about artist stuff, but I also look at like it just, some of it depends. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I'm sure there are lots of mitigating factors and like how it ends up is like what you include and what you exclude and all that shit. So
I've just always done Apple Music because I have it on all my devices. And
it's convenient. That makes sense.
And really that started from, I because I used to DJ. I had a huge I still to this day still have a huge library of songs I bought. And now that nobody does like buying music anymore, like you all stream it now for the most part. Like I wanted something that could integrate with my current catalog really easily across all my devices. So that's
makes sense.
Oh, did you guys see me just hit myself in the face with my headphones?
I didn't. I missed it, but
I'm gonna watch it back. So it was probably funny.
I love that for you. I was too busy thinking about how I was like picking something out of my tooth, and then like I touched my gum back, like at the back of my jaw, and remembered that my chiropractor has been wanging on my jaw every time that I've been going in there for my TMJ, and it's still tender back there from my adjustment on Friday. Ugh.
I went to
Everything
put
is
my
terrible.
headphones on and I let go of one half of the headphones and it swung back and smacked me in the face. Kind of hurt.
I love that.
Yeah, it was fun.
You're adorable, and I love you.
Start. Go on. All right, I was writing these on a matchbox, but I finally got a piece of paper. I've got my
No, I
top
should
3
write that down
Perrin
too.
moments, right?
Yep. Top
Perrin
3
moments.
Perrin moments.
All right. We got this. And oh yeah. no, that's better.
Okay. So for our main topic today, folks, we are going to do the top 3 Perrin moments. Last week we did Rand. This week we are going to take on Perrin.
Hey.
So Perrin is a funny character in the Wheel of Time in that he's some people's favorite character. Some people can't stand Perrin, and there are people like me who are in between. I think Perrin peaks too early in the story, but nevertheless, I think the other thing that I think is difficult, this is just my opinion, I wonder if you guys disagree or not, that Perrin lacks the major moments that some of the other characters do. He has a few of them, but I think he lacks the, oh my God, wow moments that maybe like other characters do that I think helps them stand out. Perrin is a little bit more of a flat character in that regard, my opinion.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's flat, but like the inclines are much more shallow because I mean he does have moments,
Certainly.
you know, like I mean, the whole thing at the end in the Wolf Dream with Hopper, the part that made me cry, and I don't cry at anything because I'm a heartless wench. Like that part, like that was a moment for him. Leading in Emond's Field against the Trolloc attacks, that was a moment. But you know, they're just like so. And I don't know if it's because he is so unassuming as a character that like those moments feel smaller than they should. But yeah.
Well,
I don't think, like, for me, I would say I don't have a problem with Perrin the character. I think I've said before on the pod that of the 3 Emond's Field boys, he's the one I most want to hang out with. But I do not like Perrin's story as far as his arc in comparison to Matt's story and Rand's story. I think Matt and Rand really build to an important place in the last battle. And Perrin's arc drives me nuts. I get so tired of the Slayer stuff. And I got into this with both of you on Wheel Talk when we were playing Family Feud. I like paused our whole game and I was like, hang on, is it that sad when Hopper dies for the second time? And everyone's like, yeah, that's like a really sad moment. And I was mad that it had made it onto the board. So I was like, no, this Wolf already died. I don't know. It's because I'm so over Perrin's story at that point. I can't even care.
I find Hopper to be the best part of Perrin's storyline, both when he is alive and when he is in the Wolf Dream. Also, I just got like such a big soft spot for dogs. Like,
sure, I hear
like,
that.
Honestly, fucking shit. So yeah, that part where Hopper died in the Wolf Dream is the part where I cried like a small child.
That's the final death, and that's
but like, and that's the thing. It's like that's it. He's gone. That's it. He's not in the Wolf Dream anymore. He is now just gone, and it's just like.
When he died the first time we did it, we didn't really care about him as much. He died this time
because we didn't know him,
right? So, yes, I agree. So, anyways, let's dive into our top 3 here because this will be interesting to talk about. My number 1, Jess decided to ruin for everybody and announce before we started. I'm totally joking.
Cut it out, Seth. Just cut that part out. Cut out the part where I said it.
I'm joking. Don't do that because then it takes away my joke of making fun of you.
Yeah, well.
No,
get to do jokes.
Number 1, I'm sure you guys will have this on your list. It's Perrin taking charge in the Two Rivers. Now, specifically to me, it's not the whole thing because I can't just say that whole plot arc is my favorite Perrin part because although it kind of is, my favorite part of that is sort of the unassuming way in which it happens. Like when they just go, he just starts doing what you would expect, like, is the common sense thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody just starts following him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that he's just doing what he thinks, and then people are like, "Well, I'm going to follow you." And yes, that's Taviran working, but like that piece of that story is very engaging to me, to
Mm-hmm.
watch Perrin just kind of naturally lead these people.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think that that's exactly it. I think that Perrin has natural leadership qualities, but he just always. I think that it's for Perrin, it's more than just being cautious because he's so much bigger than everybody else. I
Mhm.
think it's that he altogether feels like across the board, everything about him needs to be smaller. And he just tries to be as unassuming as possible. And he just doesn't, I feel like he doesn't have a particularly high opinion of himself and the things that he's capable of. And so any kind of natural leadership qualities that he has just
Mhm.
don't come out until like they had to. And at
Yeah.
this point, he had to. And I loved, though, to that point, I loved the way that the older men in the Two Rivers, like, stepped back. They let him take charge. And, like, I think that that was very important for him. And I think they knew that.
Mhm. Agreed.
Mhm. So, are we talking about book 4? I'm sorry,
Yep.
maybe 5?
Book
We are.
4.
We're not.
Book 4.
That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about. Yeah.
Because I'm mixed on this because it's the beginning of Perrin refusing to be their leader. You know what I mean? That's part of my big problem with Perrin is I love it when he allows them to raise Manetherin's banner and when he finally accepts it, but it sort of is the beginning of his journey towards that moment, and it takes
Yeah.
8 books. So it's not my favorite when I look back, just because that whole story takes so long for Perrin to finally accept that leadership.
Sure. I would argue, though, at this point, that isn't as much what he's doing, because
It's
he's trying to.
I would call it reluctant.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is he
and
is
he's
leading
not.
them. He just doesn't want to like take on the official title
But
and say, I'm going to be their leader.
But at that point, he isn't their leader, though. I mean, he's not the Lord of the Two Rivers. He's just, again, he's just Perrin, who showed back up and notices that the Cothins are in jail, basically. And how am I going to get him out? Right? How am I going to get the Luhans out? And he just starts, well, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go in. And then on the way, he picks up all these people. So it isn't, I think, until the later, like the next couple books, that you start seeing, like, stop calling me that, take the banner down, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Like that's, I think, when you start seeing that. But this particular book is sort of the Perrin doesn't have any followers before this, and now he does.
Right.
And I always enjoyed that part. So that's my number 3, if you will.
Yeah, I get it. I like that whole fight. I also love Fail showing up. I think it's a great part of the story.
Oh, Fail coming in clutch at the end like that.
Yep.
That was fucking great.
Yep. Totally.
That was one of the moments where I liked her the most.
It's a great moment.
There are a lot of moments where I like her, but there are also moments where I don't. But I loved her at that moment.
It comes right after the whole debacle with Loyal, so I think it's easy to kind of look over. But it's a nice moment for her. Yeah.
Well, what was your number 3, Jess?
Well, I didn't put them in any particular order, but I also had Leading at Emond's Field on my list. I think, yeah, pretty much all the same points. You know, just stepping up and doing what needed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that is a trait that I appreciate in people. And it's a trait that I try to exhibit myself. And I just have a great appreciation for it.
Yep. I'd say that's Perrin too. I think that's kind of part of Perrin's MO. Well, what about you, Brian?
My number 3 is Dumais Wells. I really enjoy Perrin's. There's a dialogue with an Aes Sedai about just like, yeah, we're probably going to die, but we're not going to let Elaida take Rand. And it's, I mean, Dumais Wells is just great.
Yeah.
But it's a good chapter for Perrin because he charges into almost certain death to rescue Rand. And for me, I like the battle in Emond's Field. I like that. I think when I look back, I choose Dumais Wells because it's not tied to this whole thing of I'm waiting for Perrin to take leadership. But I really love Dumais Wells, and it makes me proud of Perrin.
It's big ride or die energy.
Oh, yeah. They're like ready to die. It is like
100%.
literally
It's
right
one of those things where it's like, okay, you want to know what? I have this friend, and I don't particularly like what she's become. She's very wine mom now. But like she pinged me on LinkedIn the other day and was like, yeah, my dad committed suicide. And I'm like, fuck. And I was like, ride or die on her ass, wellness checks, like, because she obviously reached out to me for a reason. And so like there's just, you have those times where like you've known this person since you were a kid, and it doesn't matter how far apart you are, if they call you, you're there. And like that's the energy that Perrin was bringing to the table, and I love that.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I thought you were saying something different at the beginning, but yeah, it's ride or die is a beautiful concept. I think that like it's nice to see it in these characters.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love it. My number 2 is probably going to come out of nowhere for most people. This is not one I would expect you two to have on your list because it's not really a great Perrin moment, but more of a great Perrin's arc moment to me. And it's actually the torture scene in Crossroads of Twilight where he cuts the Aiels.
I was thinking the same thing.
I wondered if that was going to come up.
So what I like, obviously I'm not condoning the torture aspect of it, and I'm not all about that. But to me, it's such a, like, it's a big part in Perrin's arc. And honestly, I think I'm going to back up for a second. I think the problems that Perrin's arc has is that it was dragged out. I've said this before. It's just dragged out over too many books. It's not actually that much page time. Okay. Like if you look at the number of pages, it's not that much, but it feels like it because it's like, oh my God, 4 fucking books in a row. We're waiting for him to rescue Faile. Would you just fucking do it already? Like,
well, yeah, that in like the fucking Wolf Dream training montage shit, like
twice, 3 times.
It did not have to take that much time. Like if you're gonna spend pages on him, have him do something.
But I would say this moment though, if you had like cut some of the other filler out, this particular moment I think would have been more hard hitting, because this is really the moment where Perrin is so disgusted with himself that he throws the axe away. Like he's just disgusted with what he did. And like, that's also a part of that rage mentality that he had going, where he did do this to try to get information. I don't know. I really like the moment for what it does for his arc. Not because I love it, but yeah.
No, I get it. I think
No, go ahead.
Sorry. Well, I was gonna say Perrin's indecisiveness gets on my nerves after a stretch of books. And so when he chops off that dude's hand, which I think is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like after a bunch of torturing, when he chops off that hand, I'm like, oh my God, he finally, did something when it came to this inner debate of what am I going to be like? How violent am I going to be? It's like, I'm going to chop off your fucking hand because I want to know where my wife is. And that's unusual for Perrin, and I enjoyed it for that reason. It was nice to see him make a choice and just go with it.
Well, and take a definitive action, and it's a liminal point in his, like Nabe said, in his arc. It is in many ways, it's a climactic moment, but for him, it is a sort of rock bottom kind of moment. Like he does this thing because he is absolutely desperate to find out where Faile is. And then he sort of realizes what he's done and what he's let this be, like, make him become. And, he realizes that like, this is not the person that he wants to be. And so, yeah, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, what is your number 2, Jess?
My number 2 is the hedgehog trap thing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember a ton about it, but I remember thinking that it was an extremely cool concept. And, I appreciated the kind of dogged determination and the critical thinking that went into him kind of trying to figure out this puzzle. I just thought that it was a neat moment. And I think it was, in a way, it was another moment where he was actually, because, he's such a sort of, he's a very steady presence, but that can also mean that he's a very kind of one note, almost kind of boring presence sometime. And this is a moment when he is showing emotion and, passion and, really investing in something. And I really love him in those moments. And I think that was another one.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I like that.
choice. My number 2 was It's Only a Weave. It's nice when Perrin runs into Egwene and takes her down a peg with this. I love Egwene. I root for Egwene in that scenario. But it's also, we never get to see the Emmonsfielders together at this point in the story, or at least we don't really get to see them together in action. I guess that's what I'm saying. We get these little reunion scenes, but they're not like fighting side by side, really. And
I was just thinking, it had never occurred to me, but we never see that, and I would love to see that.
Well, it's nice when like Perrin and Egwene are together and Perrin stops Balefire. And only in this situation could that happen. But like, what a fun moment for these two to run into each other, and Perrin does the one thing that's supposed to be impossible and then says to Egwene, "It's only a weave." Like, it's great because and they talk about her inner monologue where she's like, I have to think as a dreamer and as an Aes Sedai. And Perrin helps her realize that. And it's a really nice moment. I love it.
It's also, I mean, again, like you said, it's taking Egwene down it because, and actually, I don't blame her because she has no idea that Perrin can do these things. But it's sort of like, Perrin, you can't be here. It's too dangerous for you. And then
I'm going to save you.
Hold on, let me block the Balefire. It's only a weave, Egwene. And she's just like jaw drop, like,
it's like, wait, what the fuck?
And it's also beautiful because so much of Egwene is like, we have different ways of teaching. She's kind of the one who coordinates how Windfinders, Nael, and Aes Sedai are going to change their teaching. And Perrin has this form of teaching that she doesn't even know exists. And he's like, it's only a weave. And I love that. I just think like he's probably better than the Aiel. It's really cool.
That's when I forgot, actually.
Yeah, Egwene thinks she's right about most things. And she is right about a lot of that. But she also, I think, has kind of tunnel vision about those things, and it's difficult for her to take other viewpoints into consideration. And so having that kind of aha moment because of what he did it's a growth opportunity for her. And I love that for her.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Also, when she ties him in air and he's just like laughs it off and imagines the weaves away and just kind of walks off. Egwene's like, what the fuck just happened? It's great.
What?
Like she thought she knew all this shit, and it's like, nope.
Yeah, he turns her world on its head. Yeah.
So my number 1 is probably on other people's lists. It's usually on people's lists of top Perrin moments, and it's when he makes the hammer. So.
Yep, that's mine too.
Honorable mention for me. I wrote it down.
I just love I actually love the way that it's written. I think it's it's a very beautifully written thing. And it comes right after Hopper's death. If I remember right.
I think that's right.
Yeah, because he names it after Hopper.
Yeah, he does. And it's just like, I love that the on cues, like the channelers just feel the need to start channeling into it. And like,
yes.
It's very beautifully written.
And we've never seen a power forged weapon made.
No, and it's awesome. And
they didn't know that that's what they were doing either, which I think is another part that's really delightful about it. And it's accidentally figured out how to do this thing that nobody knew how to do anymore.
It's sort of like making a magical weapon in D&D. Like, and then it does, like it like kills Shadow Spawn and stuff. And like, it's very cool. And I just thought it's such a beautiful scene, and it's great because it is kind of when Perrin kind of, not that he's Zen Perrin, but it's sort of when Perrin kind of figures it all out, if you will.
Yeah.
Before he doesn't figure it out again in the final book. So,
I mean, we can't all be perfect.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really love the forging of Mjolnir. I wish Mjolnir had been a larger... I wish there had been something crucial that needed to be smashed so that Perrin could do it with that freaking hammer, because I wanted it to be important. But I love when he makes it, it's beautiful.
Or that it did... I was just going to say that it did something that... Like,
that it
maybe
was
at
necessary
the end,
to make it to win the last battle.
When the Dark Hounds were attacking at the end, and like somehow he's able to kill them or something, or
something important. Yeah.
it becomes a ter'angreal that does something like addition. I don't know, just something like that would have been, oh, it was a necessary object.
Mhm.
Other than
That's
just
an
being a cool weapon.
opportunity. I think there's an opportunity in the show for them to play
Agreed.
that up more, and I really hope that they do.
Agreed.
What I like about that, because that was also my number one. I think what I like about it, aside from the fact that it is like really beautifully written, is I think it feels like another liminal moment for his arc where he finally figures out a way to like deal with his feelings, because Perrin has a
Mhm.
lot of feelings and he doesn't always deal with them well, and he doesn't often deal with them at all. And this, like, he finally figured out that he needs an outlet for that, and this is what he chose, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
And I feel like the vibe of the whole thing was just very like, dude is like feeling some type of way. He is in it right now. And the way the others came in and they were just like there quietly with him, like even aside from like the channeling thing, just being there quietly with him is like
Mhm.
giving
Mhm.
that quiet support that is
Yeah.
sometimes what you need when you're feeling grief. And it's just so beautiful.
So beautiful.
It's so
What-
beautiful.
Was that your number one too, Jess? Or
It was, yes.
okay. So Brian, what was your number one?
My number one is the Forkroot heist. I am not a big
Hmm.
fan of Malden. In fact, I haven't read this part as much as I've read the other ones I mentioned because I don't go back to the Malden stuff. But I remember distinctly how fucking cool it was that Perrin worked with the Shanshan and pulled off this heist to poison the Shido and Malden with Forkroot so that no one could channel and then go in and rescue everyone. I thought that was such a cool use
I
of
forgot about that.
they
Yeah.
poison. I mean, poison is the wrong word, but they
Yeah.
dose everyone with Forkroot using the well system. None of the Shido can channel, and then the Shanshan and Perrin and his army go in and rescue the people in Malden. And
Yep.
it's like, it's great. It's just a
Mhm.
really clever heist. I really like it.
It's very cool.
Those
So
are
one-
moments that I would love to see more of with Perrin. That, in the books they talk about so much about how he thinks more than he speaks, and I would love
Right.
to see him being smarter.
Yeah,
That
they're
when
always
he's thinking
telling
about
us.
things, like he's connecting dots and he's coming up with ideas, and like I really would love to see more of
like
that.
he's like
Totally.
he's set up to be like the ultimate planner,
Mhm.
like where he like creates
Yeah.
these, and then we
But we
just
never
don't
really
see
see
it
that.
We don't
enough.
see it.
This is a
Right.
good example of when we do. Now,
Yeah.
Perrin, right now, Rand is the one that's supposedly the clever, like I would
Well, you can
almost
say
call
that
like
for Matt.
Rand is manipulative, right? Like
Mhm.
Matt is sort of the on the fly, I don't have a plan, I just react and do things. And
And it works
Perrin is
out
sort of
because
the planner, if you will.
Mhm.
I guess I
Um,
feel like they're all planners. They're just in such different
Hmm.
situations that it manifests differently. Because I
Yeah.
think they're all kind of planning their own things in their way.
Yeah.
Well, and like the way Nabe said is that I think that they go about their planning in a very different way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think, I would just love to see more of that kind of quick, clever thinking
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah, I like
from
that
him.
moment.
As somebody who's supposed to be spending so much time in his head thinking about stuff,
well, this was a fun discussion.
It was.
And I
They
can't
were
wait.
killing it.
Next week we're going to talk about Matt, I believe. So
Oh
excited.
boy.
But hey, I think it's time for some obsessions.
I have one.
Let's do it.
All right, Jess,
My
what are
new
you obsessed with?
My new obsession is Fleabag.
It's so
Prime
good.
Video.
Never
I
seen
have
it.
watched one episode and I am fully invested. It is so funny. Like, even
Never
with
seen it.
funny shows, I do not frequently laugh out loud when I'm watching them. I am constantly laughing out loud while I'm watching this show. It is so funny.
Huh.
I love
Never
it.
seen it. Never seen it.
Fleabag is so
It's good.
good. It's so good. It's funny and it's beautiful. It makes me laugh out loud and it makes me cry. It's really good.
You like, even in the first episode, like I was feeling feelings, and like I love the way she breaks the fourth wall.
Mhm.
Like in the middle of an interaction with somebody else, she's breaking the fourth wall and talking to the audience, and it's she's so funny. God, she's funny. Yeah,
she's a genius.
Well, I'll
and
have to
you
watch
to
it.
Yeah, you do. You really do. It's Amazon. We support Well, I mean, Amazon.
I mean,
but,
yeah.
But you have to tell me when you finish season 1 because
I will.
Oh, it's so good. God, I love Fleabag. I might have to rewatch it. I've watched it like twice or 3 times.
I'm really glad that I checked my phone because I saw the text from Nameless like, hey, are you gonna do this? Or because if I hadn't, like, we would have kept watching Fleabag and I would have ignored you and you probably would have been mad. And right.
I wouldn't have been mad if you were like, we're watching Fleabag. I would have got it.
I'm yawning. Okay.
No yawning.
Any other obsessions?
I just started Archive 81. It's excellent.
I've heard that.
That's on Netflix. Really
on my
good.
I haven't heard of that one.
That's on my list.
Yeah, it's good. I honestly, I'm only 2 episodes in, but I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be watching
the
this.
way it was described to me is a much more adult version of Stranger Things, is the way it was described to me.
Oh, okay.
The premise, if I can, I'm not far in enough to talk a lot about it, but it's like this guy is brought to a remote area to adapt videotapes, like to save them as archives. And he's watching through this footage and this mystery unfolds. And it's really just like, it's a good slow release of information. And I think it's horror, but I'm not sure. It's good suspense.
I love it.
Well,
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm still obsessed with Vox Machina and the same shows I was last week. So that's all I've had time to watch was that and Gilded Age, which I still love. So,
it's great.
Oh, I need to start making a list.
Is there a 4th episode yet?
Gilded Age, yeah. It comes out every Monday night.
Man,
so there's been 4.
Caught up. I've watched. Okay, if there are 4, then I'm 1 behind. The
third
episode was great.
Did you see the one where the guy killed himself?
Yeah, that was 3, right?
Yeah, it was 3. So there was a 4 after that.
Okay,
there's where we're at.
I love that they have a dog named Pumpkin.
Yes.
Aww.
Yeah, and they say these amazing things like, "No one can control Pumpkin," and well, exceptions must be made for Pumpkin. And I watch it with my dog, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is correct."
Well, everybody, this has been a fun episode. Jess, you wanna get us out of here?
I do. I just started a list of TV shows to watch in my bullet journal because I keep forgetting. So I've done it. Thank you all for joining us once again on Tar Valon After Dark. We hope you had as much fun as we did. Not possible. We'll have a new episode dropping weekly, as always, on TVAD Tuesday. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter. And remember, if you want to support the podcast, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/TarValonAfterDark. And really, that isn't a if you want to, you need to do that right now, because how are we supposed to maintain our yachts without this Patreon cash?
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Pretend our yachts are sinking and only you can save them.
Only you can save us from a fate worse than death, which is having no yacht.
Amen.
So if you can't or don't want to, I guess, fine, whatever. You can also review us on Apple Podcasts and Audible and Spotify and wherever else. Once again, thank you for joining us here at The Thirsty Tinker. And until next time, keep it wheel.
See ya.
Nice.